Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about my top 10 tips for getting your APOC 3 trophy, otherwise known as your Apocalypse Gold trophy. Really quick, what APOC requires up front is that you take a photo of the ghost, guess the ghost correctly, survive, get all 3 side objectives done. All the while, it's important to note that you won't have any sprinting, you'll be half speed, the ghost will be 1.5 times speed, and you don't get any power because the breaker is broken. Keep in mind, it's important to note that you have to do it on Sunny Meadows, the full version, not restricted, which is why you see the skull right here, and it has to be in single player mode. So let's hop into it and we'll talk about some tips I got to set you up for best success. Okie dokie, we're here in the truck, and my first tip for you guys is don't settle for crappy side objectives. We can see here we have get a ghost to blow out a firelight, have a member of your team escape the ghost during a hunt, and prevent the ghost from hunting with a crucifix. This is a perfect combo because we got a side objective that I would never recommend that you attempt to do, which is this third one, prevent the ghost from hunting with a crucifix. This is not an ideal one because this will require you to either find the ghost room itself, which could be very far and put you at a high risk, or you'll have to wait a long time for the ghost to attempt a hunt on top of you. If it's not a ghost that does so more often, like a wraith or a banshee or phantom, this could be very time consuming. So if you get prevent the ghost with a crucifix, I would say reroll. These side objectives are a lot better than that first roll that we got. We have repel the ghost with incense, which happens because we'll inevitably have to, smudge it at some point to take the photo. Get the ghost to blow out a firelight, which is easily done actually by way of the chapel because there's lots of candles in there, and those candles that are already lit can count to get this objective done. So it doesn't always require you to bring in your own firelight source. The third one is parabolic. This is actually going to run into one of my tips that I have, so we'll talk about that later, but the parabolic is a pretty good side objective as well. And while we're on the topic, one of the best ones that you can get is definitely the capture a photo of the ghost. That is because when you think about it, we already need to get a photo of the ghost to complete APOC 3, so it's kind of a double dip in that sense. So if you capture a photo of the ghost as your side objective, that's wonderful because you'll just get a 2-in-1. Now the second tip I want to talk to you guys about is don't settle for far ghost rooms. My third tip is item run things to the front door. So what kind of things are you going to item run? I would recommend first off starting with your smudges. So grab all 3 of those. Don't forget about your lighter. And before we continue on, my fourth tip would be don't touch the front door until you're completely ready. Once you do click on the door, it will activate a map to spawn in the ghost and select a room, and we just don't want things beginning before we're fully prepared. You just press G if you're on PC and throw everything through the door like so. Grab parabolic, maybe some salt, a crucifix, throw this on through. Make sure that everything on your rack is going to be at least tier 2 and above. So whatever level that means for you, just guarantee that everything you see here is at least tier 2 and over. Of course, we're going to want a camera because that's a required objective. Perhaps we grab another crucifix, a lantern. I'm going to light this lantern before I throw it on through just so we can illuminate all the items once we open up this door. I'll throw in a bonus tip, and that's to check the various rooms in the map for ghost orbs on the PC. Sometimes you get lucky and you'll be able to see them floating around, saving you time from guessing a potential mimic. The other way you can do it is by grabbing a video camera. You could do a quick check by just walking up to the front door and seeing if this front area has any floating ghost orbs, but we're not seeing any. We'll chuck this inside as well. Sixth tip I got is to use night vision goggles if you got them. Doesn't hurt to pop these on your head. You don't have to use them if you don't want to, but they do provide some extra visibility since it is allowed versus any other tier of headgear on APOC 3. We can now open up the door. I have a smudge on hand. I have a camera. And I'm also going to immediately pick up a parabolic once we're inside to see where this ghost is coming from. So I'm going to pick up my parabolic and we're going to see where this ghost is coming from before we go anywhere. We're just going to hang out here in the front area. Okay, that was ambient noise. Oh, see? We are hearing the ghost. It is pretty far on our parabolic. See how it's on the outer bounds. This does sound like a standard 150 ghost. Stay out of line of sight. We always want to stay tucked here if we're choosing this as our safety area. The two best spots to set up on Sunny Meadows are going to be this front area and or the piano. I personally like to use piano as it provides a little bit of a safer hiding spot and puts you more centrally into the map. Use a cooldown or a smudge timer. Personally, I like to use the program called Live Split. It's a free program you can download off of their website. I have mine keybound to my 0 on my numpad, then period does stop or reset. Okay, so it is open. Now we can hustle here. I'm gonna grab a crucifix, just one smudge. We have a relatively good idea where the ghost is. Okay, the ghost is rehunting us again. We may want to back off of here because it is coming around. So I smudged the ghost. I'm going to start my smudge timer. Great way to tell when the ghost is done hunting too is by using your light switches to your advantage. If you can't flick these on or off, then the ghost is definitely still active. Okay, so we were able to turn it on. I'm going to continue on here. I'm going to head to piano area. We now know the ghost can't hunt until at least 1 minute and 30 seconds, unless it is the demon, which can hunt after 60 seconds. All right, so I'm going to place my crucifix here in our home base, as I like to call it. Drop my camera here on the bench, and we're just going to sit pretty. We know the ghost is not a demon because it didn't hunt before 90 seconds. It is hunting again, and that's much before 3-minute cooldown. All hunts for Sunny Meadows APOC runs last for 60 seconds. So keep that in mind while you're waiting for the hunt to end. Okay, it's still not hunting. I'm going to pick up another smudge. I'm going to get parabolic. I'm also going to grab probably another smudge. Let's start our hunt timer. I know that was a few seconds late, but we'll see if we can time the end of the hunt like what we were talking about, roughly around 60 seconds here. But it sounds like the ghost is pathing close to us during hunts. It's not starting really close, which is also a help. That gives us time to run to and from chapel. Run in air quotes for sure. It's just about 60 seconds. I'm going to start moving again. Hunt should be over by now. And I'm going to reset my timer back to 0. The regular cooldown for most ghosts is roughly 25 seconds. Would not push it much farther than 30 seconds. Back at home base, we can use our parabolic then to sweep and figure out when it starts to hunt. I'm going to drop this as an active electronic to test for Raiju. Pick up our camera after we smudge the ghost and bring it towards us. I would smudge the ghost if you're using tier 3 since you do freeze it right in front of here. It sounds like it's in courtyard right now. So I'm going to press B to attract it to us. We're getting static, which means it's definitely detecting us. This is usually how I do my picture. We're going to start the timer immediately when we smudge the ghost, giving us an accurate cooldown. Photo, there we go. So we got a 3-star photo of the ghost. Know all 24 ghost types inside and out. This is not a mode for beginners. You definitely want to know the various nuances which with each ghost. You want to know what they do, soft and hard evidence alike. If you don't know all of the ghosts too well, I would focus on practicing that first. We have 2 side objectives done with that. That's repel is done. It probably ended up blowing out a candle in here. Don't be fooled, you're going to get a lot of ambient noises through the parabolic mic. That voice, however, is definitely the ghost itself. We'll go back to our journal and see that it is now checked off. Ghost is hunting. I'm going to recheck if this is our Oni, which has longer blinks than normal. Let's check it out together and resmudge it. I can reset my timer too. So I'm going to smudge. We're going to take a look at it. No, that ghost is definitely normal blinks. We may be cutting it really close to be getting back. So for this next hunt, I might just chill back in the front area since we're already at 110. So we'll need our salt, another smudge. Gin is nearly impossible to get aside from deduction because it relies on the breaker to do its special ability. Otherwise, it has no specific identifiable traits. Pick up parabolic to see if the ghost is still coming from that same room. We knew it was coming from through this wall here. So let's set up our salts. I'm going to place it, somewhere safe so that I know it'll walk through it, maybe right in between the pews here. Fingers crossed we can get it to determine whether it's a wraith or not. Well, that's creepy. Okay, so the ghost just vented on us. So just to recap on our tips that we talked about today. 1, don't settle for a tedious side objective. 2, don't settle for ghost rooms that are really far. 3, use your parabolic to your advantage. 4, item run to the front door. 5, don't touch the front door until you're completely ready. 6, use NVGs if you don't know the map well. 7, use tier 2 minimum items across the board. 8, set up around the piano or foyer area for safety. 9, use a smudge cooldown timer. And 10, know all your ghosties. I hope this helped a little bit launch your journey towards achieving that Apocalypse 3 trophy. And I'll catch you guys next time.